Welcome to the commission meeting for Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. Let us do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'm not going to mess this up, Keith. I don't think. Let's do the roll call.
Okay. Commissioner Siegler. Here. Commissioner Silverman.
Here.
Commissioner Swager Wilson.
Here.
Commissioner Grella.
Here.
Commissioner Flynn.
Here.
Oh, you
Oh,
are
no,
here
the voice.
remotely. Thank you.
Got 'em all. Great, awesome, thank you very much. Manager McGill, can you please cover summary of discussion topics and your announcements?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Earlier tonight, Commission met in discussion session and received information and discussed the following items. We received information regarding a Keystone Grant application to partially fund a library improvement project. We received information about flow meters related to GROW grant projects and information about the consent order. We heard an overview of the sidewalk expansion project that occurred on Woodland and talked a little bit about potential next areas for additional sidewalk expansion. We heard a presentation regarding completed stormwater projects and planned projects for 2026. Unfortunately, we did not have time to get updates from commissioners on the boards they liaison to, but we'll do that at the next meeting. Prior to that meeting, the commission met in executive session to receive legal advice from the solicitor on a variety of topics. The next regular meeting of the commission will be held on Tuesday, October 28th. That meeting begins here at 8 p.m. Here are the ways the public can participate, either in person, you don't need to pre-register, simply show up at the appropriate meeting time, or remotely via the Zoom webinar format. Again, you don't need to pre-register, simply click the link located on the meeting agenda on the municipal website. If you wish to speak during citizens' comments or during a public hearing, simply use the raise hand feature on Zoom and you'll be notified when it is your turn to speak. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Siegler, community highlights, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Curbside leaf collection has begun. Your collection day will be the day before your regular trash pickup day. Monday trash collection has leaves collected on Friday. Please do not rake leaves to the curb earlier than the day before your leaf pickup. Collection will last through Thanksgiving. If it is extended beyond that, we will send a LEBO alert and update our website. Please have patience as weather can cause delays. For a complete schedule, tips, and other information, go to mountlebanon.org/leaves. In response to the recently passed Paul Miller Law, which prohibits the use of handheld devices while driving, the Mount Lebanon Police Department and Move LEBO will host a connected car workshop, which will help residents get set up with their Apple CarPlay or Android Auto on Sunday, October 12th in the Commissioner's parking lot at Mount Lebanon Park from 3 to 5 p.m. The workshop will feature a brief demonstration followed by one-on-one help setting up residents' cars to make sure the use of these make use of these platforms' voice controls. Mount Lebanon Police are sponsoring a food drive called Cram the Cruiser on Saturday, October 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Mount Lebanon High School to benefit the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. Most needed items are canned fruits, packed in fruit juice, low-sodium canned vegetables, beans and soup, canned tuna or chicken packed in water, whole grain cereal and pasta, peanut butter, paper products, household and hygiene items, diapers, wipes, granola bars, crackers and juice boxes. No baby food and no glass items, please. Here's a reminder that you cannot place any signs in the public right-of-way, including intersections, parks, and traffic islands. This includes election and affinity signs. Please place signs on private property, with permission, of course. Additionally, tampering with someone else's sign is a crime. Please respect the property of others. And finally, the Pumpkin Patch Parade is Saturday, October 25th at 11 a.m. on Washington Road. If your group would like to be an official part of the parade, or if you'd like to volunteer to be a mascot in one of our costumes, call 412-343-3409 from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. As always, Mount Lebanon's Trick or Treat will be on Halloween night from 6 to 8 p.m. Make sure the kiddos are visible to drivers, and please drive carefully to keep everyone safe. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Commissioner Siegler. Item number 2, we will welcome Junior Commissioner Paige Jocks for her comments.
Hi, everybody. I actually have a lot of things to share today, which is different from the last 2 weeks. So Yeah, okay. So the first thing is that the 2025 Great Alumni Award has been given out. It's basically, if you don't know, an award given to Mount Lebanon alumni, hence the name, for people who serve the community, who have exceeded in their jobs and have impacted people in, I guess, just people in general. So this year's recipients were Lieutenant Chris Siegert, which everyone at school knows him as Firefighter Chris, Rear Admiral Katie Sheldon, and Michael Turian. So congratulations to them because, I mean, thanks to their efforts to make the community better, the student council and the administration at the school has recognized them as being recognizable enough to be given this award. So it's also the time that clubs are really starting to establish themselves. I know like the first few weeks of school can be pretty slow. Everyone's trying to get back into it. But this year, there are 2 clubs that I want to mention who have already excelled at some things. So actually, this year, there was a new club established, the Mount Lebanon dance team. So at school, of course, we have, the cheerleaders and the band who perform at halftime, but now we have the dance team. So they've already performed at some soccer games this year, and I think next year they plan on performing at the football games as well. I know there's other schools around here, such as Upper St. Clair, who have dance teams who perform at the football games. So I think it'll be a really nice addition, and of course, everyone on the team is super talented. So I think that's very awesome that they're given this opportunity to do so. The next one is Model United Nations. So this past weekend, they had an event at Gettysburg and where they participated in a tournament. They ended up winning the tournament in their category as a group, and the individual award was given for winning was given out to former Junior Commissioner Abby Sohaida, which of course you all know. She is amazing and so well deserved because she worked so hard on that. And the rest of the team worked so hard as well. I mean, I hear about it all the time. I know a lot of people who were involved, and they put in so much free time and so much effort and research to do what they love and do what they enjoy. And it really pays off when they receive these awards. Okay, so this week is a very busy week at the high school as well because Saturday is homecoming. So, of course, all week we have Spirit Week leading up to the event. And every day there's a different theme that the students participate in or dress as. So yesterday was PJ Day, everyone wore pajamas. Today was jorts and jerseys, so you wear a jersey and jean shorts. Tomorrow is anything but a backpack. So you bring a random object to put your books in, as long as it's not a backpack. Thursday is Throwback Day, and this theme is early 2000s Y2K inspired, and Friday is Pink Out for breast cancer awareness.
We should do jorts and jerseys.
You can have your own
Fine
Spirit
idea.
Week. This past Friday was also the homecoming football game where the king and the queen were crowned. So Ben Wolf was crowned homecoming king and Hayden Maher was homecoming queen. So they were voted on. I want to say for the past month, we had like a preliminary vote, and then we just kept voting until I guess they were nominated as the homecoming king and queen. So homecoming itself, the theme this year is Ho-Coachella. So it's a play on the music festival Coachella. It's in the desert every year. It's just in the desert, and it's a music festival. And I mean, if you look it up, a lot of people complain about it, but I think in essence, it's a pretty cool idea to have a music festival and everyone they stay there for a few days. And I think at the high school, it'll be pretty interesting to see how they decorate and how homecoming goes along. And it should be a good time as always, because I mean, who doesn't like homecoming, you know? So that is all I have to share with you this week. Hopefully next week there will be more updates as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you to our junior commissioner. On to citizens' comments. I think I did online first last time, so let's go to the room. Do we have online? Just wondering if we have them or not. I guess we can come back later.
No one online.
Awesome, thank you. Let's see, this is for citizens' comments. Is this? Yeah, that's the public hearing, okay. Colonel Hoon.
Bill Hoon, 456 Coolidge Avenue. 21 years has passed since we started our little activity with the deer. 21 years. That's almost an entire generation of humans. And with all that movement into the community, you would think there would be some change, but there's not even sight of change here. It's like nothing's happened for the last 21 years.
What's the year that you're citing as we said it's 21, 25 minus 20, 2004? Is that what you're saying that the
Yeah.
DARE program started? 2004,
Right.
okay. Got it.
So as a result of this, nobody's excited about this place anymore. I mean, you may be because you don't know anything else, I imagine, if you've lived here all your life. But we had a reunion a couple years ago, and I was talking to a group of my class, 10 or 12 people. And I said to them, you folks have plenty of money. I know you do. Every one of you are well off. And you talk so highly of Mount Lebanon. Would any of you consider moving back here? Not one. And they said that they live in good communities, they're happy, they get along with their neighbors. All they want is their memories of Mount Lebanon, because Mount Lebanon has changed, and it's changed drastically since we were teenagers here. It was a good place to grow up at that time. Now, not so much. For the last 21 years, the primary focus of the commission has been based on the hatred of an old woman who displayed incredible ignorance while she was on the commission. I mean, she came out with all kinds of stuff. First, we have a deer herd. We've never had a deer herd. Nobody has a deer herd. Deer don't live in herds. But it's gone from one thing to another thing to another thing, and all of it's BS and lies. That's not a good way to run a community. In my mind, it's not a good way to promote a community. You may think it doesn't matter, but believe me, people know about Mount Lebanon. This has been going on for a long time. And unfortunately, if they live nearby, they have the same environment that we do. But somehow our environment has been twisted, and we've got tremendous problems. We've got an incredible deer problem. Are you kidding me? Deer are the most beautiful creatures that have ever stepped on this ground. I don't know if any of you guys have ever even seen one, but I saw one down on Scrubgrass, walked up to the edge of the road, and she stopped. Two little ones were behind her. I didn't see them at first. I just saw her, and I thought, God, what a beautiful creature. She stopped, and she looked both ways, and she listened. She was turning her ears. When she was satisfied that she didn't have to contend with a vehicle, she trotted out to the middle of the road, looked back, two little ones trotted up. And then she continued on, and they went on behind her. She was teaching her little ones how to get across a dangerous piece of ground. I mean, that's phenomenal. And I heard the same thing from somebody else ask me. He said, I'm not sure I saw what I saw, but I could swear this deer stopped and listened. Exactly. They're learning. they're also learning that they have to come out at dark because the daylight is too dangerous because of us. But you know, you go out and kill the ones that are teaching and learning. It's marvelous. Things work very well that way. Thank you.
I just want to provide a quick response to Colonel Hoon's rambling and mostly incoherent speech. We approved a deer culling program which had one purpose, and that was to reduce deer vehicle collisions. We did that for a 5-year period of time, after which we hired a consultant to review the deer vehicle collisions in conjunction with our police and staff, and we published that report with the findings from the consultant. All of those are available online. I think they're still online now.
They're in the archives.
Yeah, they're in the
section, but yes.
archives. Archives on the website. So you could find all that information, including all of the people, all of the meetings that showed up. I know we had a deer doctor who came and did a presentation at the library, I think it was, where, you know, teaching people how to put things on plants, put certain types of plants in that are not necessarily deer repellent, but that deer don't eat, things like that. I know the game warden was here, and we had other people talking about other things that could be done. So this was a very comprehensive program that was looked at by multiple commissions, several members of the commission over the course of more than 10 years. Not 21 years, but more than 10 years. And all that information is listed online.
Meanwhile, over those multiple years, many people came up here and presented all the research that's ever been done on deer, all of it, including the fact that deer don't get hit by vehicles when vehicles are traveling at 25 to 35 miles an hour. Rare hit, and quite often it's when they're being chased by dogs. But when you jack the speed up to 50 miles an hour and above, that's when deer get hit. That's what the research shows.
Thank you, Dr. Hoon. Dave Egler.
Dave Egler, 121 Poplar Drive. I really debated on coming up here this evening. I don't know if you ever had one of those days where just everything that you do goes wrong. Everybody you drive by, run into is a problem. That was one of those days today. I wish my day was as good as that. That's how bad my day was. So nothing you can say or do tonight's gonna make it worse, so that's the good news.
Glad you've come to share it with us.
And hopefully nothing I say is offensive. I'll apologize now if I say anything offensive as we go on here. Because I'll just get started here. Yeah, I'm here, of course, for item number 5, which I'll get to. Let me pass out kind of an adjustment to the pages on there. Kind of did some updating and some research on the properties on Pennsylvania Boulevard and Hazel Drive. So I kind of updated that. A lot of people say to me, why do you bother coming up here and aggravating yourself and going through all this? I guess I have to give credit to my parents for that. When you have parents from the Depression era, the values you get from them, basically my parents would say to me, don't take any BS from anybody and give them heck. Now I changed some words there from what they really said, but I kind of still hold that today. When I see something wrong, I get it corrected, I do something about it. I don't sit back and watch. And when I feel something should be done, I don't give up. I told you, I'm not gonna give up, and I get it. You guys are saying you don't wanna do it. I'm kind of curious, because I never heard from each commissioner, why not? Is it because of the cost? I think the numbers on this capital improvement program, which I'm gonna speak on further, are overstated. That's my view. I know that I do, Keith, you mentioned about having a memo from, about 8 years ago or so. I remember seeing a memo soon after this project was discussed by the then solicitor, Jim Roberts. And it didn't seem like it was a big problem at that time, as far as sheriff sales and such. And if you look at that chart that I passed out, you'll see a number of the properties were acquired by sheriff's sale, all back in 2002 in March. So kind of wonder, how was it so easy back then? Now, the one interesting thing is all those were required, they were initially owned by the three taxing bodies, the county, the school, and the municipality. So obviously there was something worked out between the municipality and the other taxing agencies back then. I can't see why we couldn't do something similar to that. I have added, and like I said, corrected a couple of properties on the Hazel Drive, and kind of added actually a couple on Pennsylvania Boulevard. So if you compare that against your actual page 79, you'll see some of the differences there. I mean, we talk about the commissioners and not, since 2002, I've been through 24 different commissioners since that date. 24 that I've tried this on and on. When I started working here, I don't want to say how far back it was, but I've been through 45 commissioners. They come and go. It's a lot of good ones and a lot that aren't so good, okay? And I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to try to get across. I wish I could have a little more dialogue. I put my email address and phone number on every time. I'm saying, hey, anybody wants to sit and talk. One other time I did this, when the parking authority was taken over, nobody wanted to do it until I actually sat down with each of the 5 commissioners and showed them the numbers and why. That convinced 3 of them to do it. And I think in this case, the one recommendation I'm going to make, many times when you have a project, you put 1 year of the acquisition and the following year's any work. I'm requesting that that be done with this. The acquisition should be in 1 year. And as far as any other cost, I think there should be a committee formed by the residents in that area. That construction cost and planning and design, you don't need that. Nowhere near that. So my suggestion is to move the acquisition up. And I think we need to do a little more research on that actual cost, because back when, like I said, the former solicitor, I was told at that time, we figure somewhere in the teens, like maybe 15 or 17,000. That worked out to about $1,000 per property. Now, I get it, that was a number of years ago, but now we're talking about 4 times that. I kind of wonder. So, thank you. I'll be back to talk item number 5. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Egler. Joe Revita.
Hi, I'm Joe Revita from 101 Roycroft Avenue, and I operate Empire Music. In 1997, a good friend of mine went to prom with a deer. It was really romantic. I don't understand what's going on here, but we'll leave that off the radar for today. I wanted to reach out tonight, if you'd give me a moment, to talk about the business district as a whole and some obstacles. I think some, whether it be business owner, well, definitely the business owners and property owners are facing. The inspections department came over this week and kind of talked to me about my window wrap and explained that it wasn't a code. And I know that the signage program is evolving or about to evolve or whatever that means. I'm here to kind of, not that we've not been invited to these conversations, because we have been. I think Eric does a great job of communicating with us and inviting us to these conversations. I think we're at kind of this interesting point in retail, I can tell you, where what makes an interesting store like Empire Music, one of the biggest independent guitar stores in the country, is a lot of things. We have 17 people on staff. We have 54 people that those 17 people take care of. We're really responsible for a lot of individuals that people that work at Empire Music are married, have homes, have kids. It's not a hobby shop. It's a serious business. And with a lot of the regulations, because I think Rodney and Josh get dumped on a lot. It's like you don't have to like the rule. It's like the referee isn't the problem. It's like with these window wraps, things like this, we've had our windows wrapped for a long time by manufacturers, and we wanted to put it out there about the types of business that we do representing our store. We paid $21,000 a month at Empire Music to rent that space. I've got $90,000 a month in payroll. We've got to have a little flexibility in making these spaces feel special, because for someone to come out of their house, drive and park, wherever that may be, come into your independent business, whatever it would be, it takes a lift. You have to have something special, or you're gonna have turnover. And I think we've seen that throughout the district many times, right? The businesses that are legitimately trying to grow and be something, succeed, and the places that maybe have their foot halfway in the water, don't find their end result that they're probably looking for. I study a lot of retail because I used to go to the saloon a lot, and now I listen to podcasts. And it's just like the reality of retail is this word bifurcation, which is the separation of high and low, right? There's no middle, right? It's either premium or it's, that you're the lowest cost, right? And a place like Mount Lebanon is likely never gonna be the lowest cost, but there's a lot of cool premium experiences up here. We see them with Rollers. I think you go into Grandpa Joe's. I think a lot of the restaurants, you have this really dedicated group of people that are trying to put premium businesses out into the world. Our landlord tried to redo something with the outside of our building and met so many problems with the outside is sandstone, they can't do this. And at the end of it, what happens is the outside of our facade is crumbling, right? It's just like, so the end result of trying to keep this Rockwell painting together is that now it's like totally not meeting today's standards. Like streetcars used to come through here, and eventually like stuff just changes. I always think of like our industry specifically, the types of signage that comes across independent guitar stores is something that tells people that it's unique, it's something exciting. You're supposed to be inspired when you walk in, and you can't do that with Times New Roman, 30 by 6 in the window, sort of to the left, but not all the way. Like that's just not how it goes. So I know that the program, I spoke with Eric randomly today with the handing out of his pumpkin patch parade signs, and he said it was under review or about to be reviewed. There's a way to give a little bit of flexibility until that gets sorted out? I think it would be really helpful. We went to our friends and neighbors at Commonwealth Press, $5,000 to put the window wrap in. Like, we do so much with our neighbors on the street in terms of supporting those businesses, and they support us. But I just think if you walk up and down this street where when any dignitary comes through, we parade them through so proudly, it's just like, and I think the reality of it is that it's way underdone in a lot of places. And there's some really nice spots, but it's really, really hard to make your place look great and stand out and grab the traffic. We're paying for it. When you rent a space on the street, you're paying for the 30,000 cars or whatever drive by an hour, or what it is. People need to see you and to stand out. And if there's any way to get some flexibility in that until the program's reevaluated, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'd be happy to comment on that. I've certainly been a proponent, and thanks, Joe. I appreciate your coming up, and we certainly are aware of the important role that you play in Uptown in your business. And, I'm of the opinion that, I know that there are some great storefronts and buildings in Uptown, but simultaneously, you kind of mentioned it at the back end, there are others that are not really doing their part. And I think that what we're trying to figure out is how to strike the balance. I know I've been working with the building department on those things. It's like, well, how do we make sure that those, we put a lot of public money into Uptown, and there's some property owners that aren't really holding up their end. Where, windows are deteriorating, storefronts are kind of deteriorating, and it sounds like you've got a bit of both, that you're putting in, stuff in and having some problems getting the storefront improved. So I think we're just trying to figure out how do we get that balance right? How do we make sure that property, I don't want to say free ride, but it's like, look, if we keep putting public money into Uptown and then some property owners will never put anything in, like there's some responsibility I think we have to try to make sure that they're doing their part. So at the moment we're sort of trying to get the balance right. We want to be creative, we want to let store owners be creative as possible. And so part of the upcoming zoning refresh, we're going to be looking at windows and signage and how because I think it's appropriate to try to be not too prescriptive. Like, what do we do to make sure that there's consistency, that there's not like any hideous signage and backlit sign and things that don't necessarily fit at all, while simultaneously giving people a lot of room to be creative. So we're trying to figure that out. But if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to pop by the shop sometime and catch up with you and try to better understand what we can do. Because again, you're an important entrepreneur in Uptown, and we want to make sure that that's recognized.
I think that what makes it cool up here, and we're going through this kind of spot right now where there's new stuff moving in, right? And that's exciting, you know what I mean? Like you have that, what I can tell you is like, just for like, and I can speak to Empire, like, we are 95% online. You know what I mean? And we just put $250,000 into our retail showroom. The governor came through. Our showroom is next level. We are working to just renovate the entire space to create something where, our customers, I'd probably say at this point, 25% of our in-store customers are from more than 2 hours away. We just we did an event in mid-September, and we had people from all over the country that came in for that event. And not that, we have 250 students. That's all lovely and fine. The trick with it is if Empire Music is going to be there in 20 years, and I look at the stores that we compete with, what makes those stores great is the personality of their business, which is each unique. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think there are places, of course, that a lovely backlit or whatever the correct, like Toastique sign is sleek, and that matches. The facade, it looks beautiful. And it meets probably all the criteria, and that's great for that style of business. But if you want to have independent businesses that can impact the neighborhood that they're serving and culturally fit into their business community, there needs to be. And it's tough to have the pretty place, like you guys say, this one looks good and this one doesn't. I get why the rules come into play, but I think right now it's causing stagnation in some places where it's there's people that are willing to renovate a space and looks beautiful to code, great. And then there's the total H&R Block, whatever, that place. They if somebody's comes out of the saloon and throws a bottle at it, it's going to tip over. So it's just where do we find that way to get rid of that?
That's exactly, I think, that's exactly where we're coming from, is to make sure that there's still some creativity, make sure that we're raising the bar while simultaneously having some measures or standards in place for the H&R Block.
For sure,
So, the commentary is appreciated, and we certainly appreciate your work, and don't want to ever lose something like that.
Yeah.
Just,
Ask a stupid question.
Yeah, I love
What
stupid
is a
questions.
window wrap?
It's if you look at Empire right now, we have
Yeah.
wrap with our logo. We have buy, sell, and trade. We deal with vintage gear,
It's over the whole window?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So the issue is that it obscures looking in, is that
Well, the issue is the ordinance allows you to have a 50% covering.
Okay,
There's a purpose and intent to that. One of those is for the very reason that you mentioned, right? From a safety standpoint, if police are driving past at night, it's gonna be very difficult to see if somebody's in there that shouldn't be in there doing something they shouldn't be doing. But it's also, again, part of the overall vibrancy of the district and trying to show off what's inside of those storefronts.
Right.
We have a requirement for glazing in the central business district that it's 70% of the wall area. Again, for that same reason, because we want to sort of provide that pedestrian scale sort of experience of people walking down the street, and use an old expression because I'm old, window shopping, if you will, looking in and saying, hey, geez, I didn't realize that's what this store had. When we get into situations where, and I'm not picking on you, Joe, you and I knew your dad when he had this piano store
I
when
knew
you were in
your
the
dad.
smaller place.
Don't hold
but-
that against me.
I would encourage you, we are going to we've just awarded a contract to
Yeah.
update our zoning ordinance.
Yeah.
We want business owners, we want property owners, we want residents at those meetings, because you provide an input and a perspective that
Right.
we aren't going to get if you're not at the meeting. So, and I know your time's valuable. We're gonna try to space those out so that we can make them available to everybody, but I really do encourage you to attend those.
I would just tag on to that. We've done a lot of big projects, and over the last probably 6-7 years, we've done a lot of public input with these projects. We did it where we overhauled a lot of our police regulations with public groups. We published a lot of information. We changed some of our regulations. We did the same thing with the DEI committees a couple years ago. When we did the comprehensive plan, I don't know how many meetings did we have, Ian, that were public. It was like dozens and dozens of public meetings, and I think I'll use the word product. The product that we got out of that, I think, was very good. We had a lot of public input, and I think the more public input we get, the better those projects become. And what Keith is talking about, we literally just issued, we did the contract for the zoning. With the zoning redo, we're going to be looking at subdivision and land development ordinance. We're going to be looking at all of the zoning top to bottom, including signage and, everything across the board. And part of that was mandated that we do it in the same style with public meetings so that we can get comments like this, because what you're talking about is not really hard for us to work through. We just have to do it. But we also need the comments. And I think you know, Ian published, I don't know how many pages, and we've got a great website about the comprehensive plan. And I think you could see all the public comment that went into that. Our hope is that we get the same type of thing with zoning. So the more resident and the more business input we have, that will shape how we come out of this zoning redo. And I think a lot of what you will see go into that will be directly from people like yourself, you know, residents who've had issues with developments or have tried to get things done. And, you know, sometimes it seems like the simplest thing is the hardest thing to get done. And we want to try to remove some of those friction points with the new zoning, so.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and we're certainly interested in partaking. I guess, I think like, first of all, in Empire, for what it's worth, if you're ever at Uptown Coffee and you want to duck your head in, you know, we have a recessed window where there were walls already from the, like, so you can look at a dead wall with dead electric, or we can wrap it, like, that's really what there's no window shopping. Additionally, I think this is kind of like where I feel the rub is that while that's well-intended, I've got 5 full-time people creating content all day long, putting out content to tell you to come to Empire Music. We're not window shopping, like that's just not how it goes. And we do have obviously the ability to look in the shop and if you want to, but the initial visual of Empire Music where the building is falling apart, whether the window is 50% covered or not, is a greater, you know, problem for us. And like, you know, it's just, to me, I think I see it as we are attracting customers differently than those rules. And I guess that's what my concern is that understanding that, you know, not everything is created equal. It's just like, and it's easy like to dump on the dentist, right? But they basically have a Fast Signs banner that's been stapled to the front of the building for 25 years now, right? It's just like, I guess that's in code, right? Or you know, or whatever, but it's like those alternatives that like meet the criteria, but I think that's missing the essence of what a great independent business district has. And what makes these business districts cool are the shops. And obviously, like, the outside looks great now. I mean, the lighting is beautiful, you know, it's just like, I think parking, while everyone gripes about it, there's plenty of it. You just have to be willing to go into a garage, and if that's, you know, not gonna do that, you're never gonna be happy here. But overall, I think it's made amazing strides. But when I just walk up and down the street, because after Rodney came over, I was just curious as to like, what does it look like signage wise, just broadly, you know what I mean? It's just like, am I batshit? It's quite possible, you know, it's like, you know, it's just like, and I just really feel like when we are telling customers about our services and creating this immediate impact the visual that happens when you park your car and you walk up to Empire Music, what is it? And are we able to achieve what is inside? You know what I mean? Like with the experience you're about to have. And that's really important to me.
Completely agree, and I think we have a lot of work to do to get this right still. But I'd also say that one of the issues that we want to be careful of too, like if all the businesses downtown had obscure windows, that's really kind of pushes people away. You know, I'm sure you've seen towns like that where everything is, you know, where you have all the windows that might be tinted, and it's a real strong message of you know, move on. So that's what I think that's how the current code is sort of, that's the intention, to make sure that you can see in and it's inviting, but you know, it's tough to get the balance. So I think, like I said, we're trying to figure out some of those things, because make sure we're not penalizing those that are doing good, while also there's plenty that the floor needs to come up as well. So
Gotcha.
Well, look, this is information that's important, right? When we have these public meetings and you and other business owners come to those meetings and say, look, we have, you know, X% of our business is online, and X%, you know, like when some of these regulations are in place, might have been before there was an online, right? So like there are obviously safety regulations we need to take in place, laws that we're not going to change. And then there are practical best practices, and we listen to people like our solicitor and our chief of police and fire chief, and we listen to them. And that stuff is you know, there's some bend there, right? But we do listen to those best practices. But the other information that you bring to the table will help shape some of those future regulations. Sure. The wheels of government move. They move slow, right? Like we don't get this done in a couple days, especially when we have to deal with something like zoning, which is a legal code. And it's important that we do that right, so. But,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, real quick, back to online. 'Cause I know everyone here is hoping we have more comments.
Nobody online.
All right, sweet. What are we on? Item number 4, Commissioner Swagger Wilson, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is consideration of the minutes from the adjourned meeting held September 24th, 2025. I move to approve the minutes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Andrew fell asleep already. He's done. Commissioner Silverman, item number 5, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public hearing on capital improvement program, parentheses CIP. As required by the charter, the capital improvement program, parentheses CIP, for 2026 through 2030 was submitted to commission on August 1, 2025. A public hearing is required to be held on this program prior to the issuance of the manager's recommended budget.
All right, we will conduct the public hearing. We have 2 people on the list to be heard during the public hearing. The first is Dave Egler.
Dave Eckler, 121 Poplar Drive. I think you know which item I'm going to be talking about. It's on page 43. I assume you all have your capital improvement program with you. Did want to mention, I did have a very productive, I thought, meeting with the Parks and Recreation Board last month. Very good back and forth, a lot of discussion. A lot of them didn't know much about it. It was great to have a discussion and to make them aware of what's going on there. It's a shame, it doesn't seem like there's been much commission involvement at these meetings. I think the last time a commissioner was there was back in August of last year. So it's been 14 months, so it kind of shows a little bit that there's not much commission involvement with the Parks and Recreation area in this town. I mean, it may not be true, you may have a passion for it, but it just doesn't give that appearance to some of the people out there. Back to the item on page 43, as I mentioned earlier, my goal is if I have to try to convince somebody down the road, I need to have some good numbers to start with. And my request is ask the staff and the commission is to split that acquisition cost from the other cost. It's a lot easier to argue one item than to come in and say, hey, we're talking 132,000. Right away, you're gonna say, no, that's it. You gotta acquire it first. After that, there could be discussion on what needs to be done. So my request is to move the land acquisition out of the 2030 line. And by the way, that amount's been in there since at least 2020, so it hasn't changed 1 cent in the last 6 years. But once again, I'd like to move that out of that year and also maybe have a review again on the cost of acquiring this land. I'm assuming that the method would be through sheriff's sale. Like I said, there's been a number of properties as I've shown you there that we've acquired in the past by sheriff's sale. I guess my question is what's different now than it was back then? So once again, I ask the commissioners to please help me with that. If I have to convince any commissioners down the road, I need to start somewhere. And I don't think I'm asking for too much to move that out of there and keep it separate.
Can I ask a question, Dave?
Please do.
The cost that you have, is this your assumption that that's what the taxes are that are outstanding, and that's what we could get the properties for?
No, that, actually, I should have brought that up. I haven't compiled that information on the taxes. I know it was well over 100,000 between the school and the municipality. This is going back, how many years ago was last time I did it? Maybe 5, 6 years ago. I'm assuming the taxes will never be collected. These people were all deceased. They're considered underwater. In other words, the land's not, the value is less than the liens. So I don't think you're gonna get anything from that. Once again, there's liens for the school, there's liens for the town, and I'm sure the county has their own liens too. So what needs to be done is the 3 taxing bodies need to have a little chat together, an agreement. I think that's also a good start for Commissioner Gurley. I mean, you're the president, whoever will be president at that time, to have a
Where did you come
discussion.
up with these costs? You have like 6,200 for the Stradley.
That's from the county website.
Okay, it's the assessed
And the
value
2
of the
that have the
county.
question mark,
Okay.
they did not have the information on the website.
All right,
But I
thank you.
wasn't about to go downtown to the recorder of deeds
No,
to
that's
look it
okay,
up.
I just didn't know
That's where
where
I
it came
got
from.
all that
Okay.
information from. And I added to it a little bit, because it was a little bit hard in the beginning to figure out which properties were on there, because it didn't have an ID.
Sure.
But I was able to figure it out by the acreage.
Yeah.
And put the lot and block in there, and I also put in how we acquired it, from who, was it an
Right.
individual or sheriff's sale?
Okay,
Just more information.
that's fine,
never hurt.
just curious, thank you.
Thank you all.
Dave, I just want to say, I think your comment that there are no commissioners involved in this project, or there are no commission involvement at all in this project, I think is a little disingenuous.
Wait a minute, I was talking about,
Parks and Rec.
yeah, the Parks and Rec meetings.
So I'm the commissioner liaison to Parks and Rec, and I have conversations all the time with our director, and I have conversations with members of Parks and Rec. So I have direct involvement in that.
Well, and I did say there may be some passion out there that I'm unaware of.
I don't think that's the intimation you
I'm
made.
looking at the minutes.
Let me speak, Dave. Second of all, you and I have had many conversations about why I don't support your project here. I'm also the commissioner for this ward. You know my phone number, you know my email, both of them are posted online. You haven't tried calling me. You know where I stand on this project. So saying that there's no commission involvement or the commission hasn't done anything on this is very disingenuous. We have. Multiple versions of this commission have not deemed this project worth working on. That doesn't change. It might change with a different commission, possibly, right? And of course, you're free to come here and, give public comment and update on numbers. And I'm sure some commissioners may want to have a conversation with you about that. But you have my number. I've not gotten a call from you about this.
Well, no, you.
Please.
We have talked in the past. I know your position, and it's a shame that you're a commissioner and this is that ward, that you're not involved. I'd like to hear really why. I just keep hearing, we don't care, we don't want to do it. I'd like to hear why. Is it because of the cost? If it's because of the cost, I'm saying to you right now, these costs are not accurate. And if you want to just break that out and just say, hey, what's the acquisition? Is it 15,000, is it 20,000, 25, whatever. I think then you can argue it and say, hey, what do you think, guys? 25,000 to acquire all this property that's been delinquent for 100 years. And then also the comments, I didn't say, my comment was, it appears, there's an appearance. I didn't say that you don't care. So let's get that straight. I'm not accusing anybody of anything here. I said there's an appearance. When nobody shows up at a meeting for 14 months, the average person will look at that and say, man, it appears nobody cares. I'm not saying you don't care. I said you may have a passion. You very well may. But the appearance, that means a lot. Doesn't matter what you think. I really don't care what anybody thinks here. Okay, now you're gonna get pissed. I don't really care. It's what the perception is of the people out here. Okay, and the people out here are kind of pissed about their local government and what response they think they get. Comments I get, why do you go up there? Why are you wasting your time? They're not gonna listen to you anyway. They don't care, they're gonna do what they want. That's what I hear from the people out there. And I'm not accusing anybody here of anything. I appreciate the work that the commissioners do. I've worked with commissioners for 6 decades, okay? Side by side. I appreciate what you have to go through and the aggravation you get. So I'm not saying anything negative in that respect. All I'm saying is the perception and what the people are saying out there and what they see is not what you think, okay? So
I have a lot of conversations with my constituents, Dave. There was something you said before where you have met with or talked to 45 commissioners about this project, or there have been 45 commissioners through the years, and nobody has taken action on this. I mean, that's a little bit telling to me.
well, they were, going back when this project first came up, they were willing to do it. It was top priority in 2002. It was top priority. Somebody should raise the question, why did it all of a sudden not become priority anymore? Do you want that word to get out to the public as to why it was dropped all of a sudden? I don't think so. You guys need to do your homework, because it'd be very embarrassing to this municipality if they heard why it was dropped.
I'm sure Phil would like to tell us.
I know I was dropped. Legal reasons.
What was it?
There's
Legal reasons.
It has to do with the road and the type of title you're getting if you sheriff seal these
No, that wasn't why it
properties.
was dropped.
Oh, no, it was.
It was dropped because the county wanted to come in there and build housing.
That's what
Along
I'm
the
saying.
property.
The kind of title you're getting when you sheriff sale it is not what you're describing. The 3 taxing bodies own it. They're not, in so far, so the school district and the county have to give it to us, and so far, they have not been
Well, first
inclined to
off,
do so.
you're wrong. They don't own it. The taxing bodies do not own these 17 properties.
If you sheriff sale a property,
If you sheriff sale it, correct.
That's what you're saying. Sheriff sale the properties, and then the 3 taxing bodies own it, and then you say we can do whatever we want to with it, and that's not right.
Well, first off, you're making an assumption that all 3 taxing bodies are gonna go into the sheriff's sale. Are you saying that the municipality alone can't
Go
just
to
do the
sheriff's
sheriff's sale?
sale and nobody bids. One of the municipalities shows up and bids taxes, the 3 taxing bodies get it, period.
Okay,
And then what happens, Dave?
well,
They just give it to
well, let's
us?
go back to the year when we acquired a number of properties from the 3 taxing bodies. What
Yep.
was done then? How was it acquired? Why was it acquired? What's the deal then? You got the date on there when it was done.
I know. I've read it.
Well, okay, so the 3 taxing bodies had it. We are now the owners of the property.
One of 3 owners of the property.
No,
Yes.
we are the only owner according to the
All
county.
right, we're gonna move on to the
You need
next
to,
item.
you
We
need to do
can,
your homework. Look at the documents I got off the county
Dave,
site,
you-
okay?
I'll give you a buzz this week and we can chat about this more, and if we need to pull Phil in, we
Be
can.
glad, but that document I got is right off the county site.
That's fine.
We are the only owner.
Thank you. What's that?
This will take 30 seconds.
Ian gets 3 sentences.
All right. Ian McMeans, Municipal Planner and Assistant Municipal Manager. The 2026 to 2030 Capital Improvement Program lists 39 total projects for consideration. The CIP is a planning document intended to identify potential future projects that will require significant investment. None of these projects are guaranteed to occur until they are funded as part of the budget. There are 23 projects listed for consideration in the 2026 category with a gross total of approximately $20 million. The commission will consider these projects as part of the annual budget process, but none of them are guaranteed to occur unless they get funded as part of the budget. The planning board reviewed the CIP at their August 19th, 2025 meeting and recommended the CIP be approved as being in accordance with the comprehensive plan. The commission also heard a summary of the projects included in the CIP at the August 26th, 2025 discussion session. Videos of both of those meetings are available on the municipality's YouTube channel, and the CIP document is available on the municipal website under the public document section. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone may have on the CIP.
Perfect, thank you. Questions? Commissioners? Good? All right, thank you. Any other people in the room for public comment on, or I'm sorry, public hearing on the CIP? All right, we'll close the public hearing. What's that? Oh, online, thank you, Commissioner. So anybody online for CIP public hearing?
Nobody has their hand raised.
Thank you. All right, now we'll officially close the public hearing for the CIP. Move on to item number 6, Commissioner Siegler, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Consideration of resolution number R-8-25, authorizing the filing of an application for a Keystone Recreation Park and Conservation Fund grant. The municipality is submitting an application for a Keystone Recreation Park and Conservation Fund grant for improvements to its facility at the Mount Lebanon Public Library located at 16 Castle Shannon Boulevard. The grant request is in the amount of $750,000 for Phase 1 of a 3-phase project. The total project cost is estimated at $4.2 million. The cost of Phase 1 is estimated at $1.54 million. Phase 1 includes upgrades to the central core of the upper level, new restrooms, flooring, larger access to the courtyard, staff office reorganization, lighting updates, and HVAC modifications. The grant application has a 50% required match for allowable expenses. The following is the breakdown for the matching funds, which I believe is on the commission's right and the audience's left. There you can see. The library is committing funds accrued in their Love Your Library Month fundraising, $40,000 plus raised in 2025, and an annual appeal until the project is completed. Friends of the Mount Lebanon Public Library have also committed to assist in funding this project. The total amount is unspecified currently. $125,000 donation is encumbered for Phase 2 of the project to upgrade the children's library. As a requirement for the grant, a resolution is required authorizing the filing of the application and directing and authorizing the persons identified as the official representative of the applicant to act in connection with the application to provide such additional information as may be required. Mr. President, I move to adopt resolution number R-8-25.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
This is a fabulous project, knocks it right out of the park, very needed, and I'm glad that we're going to go forward, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Commissioner Seeger. Commissioner Swager Wilson, item number 7.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is consideration of resolution number R-9-25 regarding use of the library. The municipality is submitting an application for a Keystone Recreation Park and Conservation Fund grant for improvements to a facility at the Mount Lebanon Public Library located at 16 Castle Shannon Boulevard. The grant request is in the amount of $750,000 for Phase 1. The total project cost for a multi-year project with three phases is $4.2 million. As a requirement for the grant, a resolution is required ensuring the undisturbed use of the facilities as a public library for 50 years or for the useful life of the project, whichever is shorter. I move to adopt resolution number R-9-25.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner Swager Wilson. I believe that is it. We are adjourned.